One of the most polarizing quarterbacks in NFL history was Tony Romo.
We miss this game when we're done playing with it. The best game in the world.
Despite what you think you know about Romo, he was actually one of the better quarterbacks in the league during his career. One of the knocks on Romo was that he had a reputation of not producing in the playoffs. But what's never talked about among Romo's critics is how he literally put up the greatest postseason in history from a quarterback who didn't win a Super Bowl back in 2014. Romo was perfect as a quarterback in every column that year. 2014 was one of the greatest seasons on offense in Cowboys history. In my opinion, Romo was robbed of the MVP. Not only was he fourth in passing touchdowns, he was also tied for top 10 in interception percentages, was second in AYA, had the highest passer rating in all of football, had the highest quarterback rating in football. According to PFR, he was the most successful quarterback in the league with a 53.4 success rate. He led the league in yards per attempt, led the league in touchdown percentages, and one can say that this was the greatest season for a quarterback in Cowboys history in terms of quarterback efficiency, especially when we compare those numbers to quarterbacks of that season. I'm not saying that's true, but there's an argument that can be made. Romo wasn't the only star on offense that year. DeMarco Murray was outstanding. He was arguably the best running back in football, leading the league in rushing yards and touchdowns. His 1,845 rushing yards was a franchise record.
Left side, first down and more. That's the record.
Diz the X Factor Bryant was a top 5 receiver in football that season.
Firing downfield for Bryant. He's got it. Need the 10 to the end zone.
He led the league in receiving touchdowns.
He is now the single season all-time touchdown receiving leader.
And was 8th in yards and in first downs.
4th and 6, Romo cocks and throws it over the middle with 30.
Then you had Witten, who was top 10 in yards among tight ends and 5th in first downs. The offensive line was the best in football. Dallas had the 5th best offense in the league and the number 1 rushing attack. The defense, though, wasn't nearly as good.
Jackson gets a block. Deshaun Jackson.
They were ranked a measly 15th in scoring and had the 7th worst passing defense in the league.
3rd and 11. Sanchez able to step up to buy time, and then it's Macklin down the sideline. Macklin running free, tries to get by Wilcox.
Yet still, Romo led the Cowboys to a 12-4 record and the NFC Eastern Division title.
Okay, we're going to put these NFC East Division hats on. We're going to have somebody take a picture of everybody who's in here with their hat on. Okay, and then by midnight tonight, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to give it to somebody. Because as good as this is, I think our sights are set a little higher than this, aren't they?
In the North, another quarterback and receiver duo was making noise.
The 20, slings it, end zone, diving attack is caught.
The Lions were heading into the postseason as one of the hottest teams in the league, winning 4 of their last 5 games. Detroit had the 9th best defense and passer rating in football. They were one of the best disruptive defenses in the league with 42 sacks, which was 8th in the league. It was becoming evident by week 15 that these two teams were heading towards each other in the wildcard game. By wildcard weekend, predictions were true.
No one thought we would be here. No one gave us a chance. We surprised everyone.
Romo was a monster in this game. He carved up the Detroit defense all afternoon, throwing clutch passes after pass.
Blitz coming. Romo throws. Williams makes the catch.
What I noticed about Romo after watching film was how mature he had gotten since his younger days. For example, Romo was under pressure a lot this game. Younger Romo would have just thrown the ball up and hoped for a big play.
Romo throws high. Intercepted. With 3 minutes left. Pressure is on. Floating and intercepted.
But he was more patient. Keep in mind, Dallas trailed for the majority of the afternoon. In fact, they were once down 20-7, and not once did he panic and try to force things down the field. Another brilliant thing about Romo was in his mature seasons from 2011 to 2014. Once he dissected the philosophy of the defense, he dismantled them pretty quickly.
Hey, 53. No, I'm not. Hey, Brooklyn.
If you stop on slants, they're 100% incomplete.
Lions were in a heavy blitzing scheme. It's obvious that their concept coming into the game was to get Romo to make decisions under duress, and hopefully he could turn the ball over. What the Lions were doing was bringing pressure up the middle, specifically by bringing single-man pressure with a linebacker. Romo noticed that whenever this linebacker blitzed, Detroit was in a single-man coverage, but with the defensive coverage rolled towards Dez Bryant, along with the safety on the deep ends. So what does does Romo do? He shortens up his drop step from 7 steps to 3 or 4 steps and went right after the Detroit's defensive back who was checking Terrence Williams. Now keep in mind, the normal starter on the left side was Darius Slay. Instead of forcing the ball to Dez in double coverage, he went after the weakness of the defense. On Williams' touchdown play, pay attention to the linebacker. There he is again blitzing. If you slow it down, look at Romo's head and who he's looking at. He's looking right at that linebacker right there. He was anticipating the blitz all along. The moment he blitzed, he knew Williams was single covered. Again, Williams was single covered against who? Cassius Vaughn, who only started 5 games that year, who had signed with the Lions in 2014. Here's another example of Romo's genius football IQ. So, like we just went over, the Lions were doubling Bryant and Witten all game. The hot routes were either Williams or Beasley, but because Romo exposed and ate that concept up, Detroit decided to switch up their defense on one of the most important plays of Romo's career. Romo comes to the line of scrimmage with 2 plays, one going to Williams, the other going to Beasley. But when he saw Detroit's coverage on Witten, he signaled out of the play and called the Y option, one of the most unstoppable coverages in NFL history.
Romo's yelling out perhaps a protection change. They're going to double up the outside, so it's going to be Beasley or Witten here.
But what did exactly Romo see that made him switch up the play besides the single coverage? You might can't see it, but if you pay close attention, Detroit is in a 2 deep shell. One safety is over Bryant, but watch this safety right here. You see where he's at? He's over on Williams' side. Now this gets me really excited watching this, because this is a testament of how what you do with a player in the game can set up other players later. For the majority of the game, the Lions was in single coverage on Williams, but doubled up on Witten. Now since Romo exposed that coverage, Detroit had to give the corner who was checking Williams help by bringing the safety over. Romo knew this and switched the play to the Y option.
Over the middle, he's got Witten.
But what's even more brilliant is how both Witten and Romo knew where they should go. Typically, the Y option is ran towards the numbers this way. But remember, the safety was no longer over Witten because of Williams on the outside. That left the middle of the field open. Romo knew where Witten should go with his route, and Witten saw where Romo should throw it. Y option route in the middle of the field. Both of them guessed correctly.
Great route. Watch him drop him off. Oh!
Boy, I tell you, there's nothing like good football when it's done correctly. Romo could have stayed with the original call that was given by the offensive coordinator. Most quarterbacks probably would have. Romo was that rare quarterback who saw the game better than his own coach, especially during his mature seasons. I would put his football IQ up there with anyone.
Oh, wait. If you make that choice, go. Because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking is, oh, I lost the route. So you just kind of slow and stop. And I'm thinking, oh, we'll still make the route work. You know, he can't cover. He's not seeing the ball.
Yes, I mean, they're just coming after us now. If we're taking 7-step drops, we're not in our best interest.
If the guy goes inside, honestly, if the guy's all over you, it doesn't matter.
Come on! You're the best player out here. Act like it!
Before the game, questions about Romo's ability to elevate his game in the big moments was all the media talked about.
Tony Romo will come through for me like he always does in big moments. When it's called upon to deliver the goods, he ain't going to be able to get it done.
You know, I cost the Dallas Cowboys a playoff win, and I don't know that I've ever felt this low, you know, at any point. So, I don't know. It's,
His critics never gave him a chance. Finally, this was the chance for Romo to prove to the world and to his critics who he truly was. There comes a point in everyone's life, whether it's in sports or on any other avenue, that it's time to shut up or put up. The magician Romo escaped as he often did and hit Williams with a dagger in the end zone.
End zone!
Now, I slowed this down because I wanted you to see Romo. That's what a man looks like when he has overcome obstacles when no one else believed in him. That's a conqueror's chant, a warrior's roar. Some of you might say, why am I making this a big deal? It was just a wild card game and only his second win of his postseason career. If you were one of the ones who said Romo was a choker in big games, you don't get to ask that question. That cheer was not only a cry of victory, but a call of confirmation to himself that he was worthy to play on the sacred grounds of the postseason. That win was important because in a game to go home or advance, he won when the game was on his shoulders. When his team relied on him in the big moments, he got the job done.
Don't count this team out. They have been outstanding on the road. played their best football on the road. They've got their work cut out for them next week at Lambeau, but 8-0 on the season is going to be a heck of a matchup next Sunday.
Although he won the battle, the war wasn't over. Romo had just defeated a giant, but his next rival was a goat. Dallas had to travel to an old historic familiar place.
Just see the white creeping across the field, the frozen tundra.
The ground that we're walking on was paved by men who believed, who fought, who scraped.
The frozen tundra. Dallas versus the Packers in the postseason is as classic as any other rivalry in sports history.
But in order to make contact with this free spirit, Dickie will need time to set up. And the Doomsday guys are the guys who make the strong Cowboy pass rush, are determined to be in his face all afternoon.
Now will the champion Cowboys become the next pro team to repeat in the 90s? Postseason step one at home against Green Bay. Now the last...
In zone, touchdown.
But this rivalry started when two icons walked the sidelines on the opposite side.
Don Meredith, as he attempted to throw that pass, it was intercepted in the end zone by Tom Brown, and the Packers have just taken the championship.
The Dallas Cowboys and for the whole works.
That's right. Al, this is the big game of the year, and we're real happy we're going to play in Green Bay. Let me say that.
We enjoy playing Green Bay, and our game plan is really not based on weather. The field, I understand, won't be frozen, so we can wear our cleats. We have more speed than Green Bay overall in our team, I think. So I think a good field is to our advantage.
The Ice Bowl came down to the final seconds of the game and was won on a brilliant quarterback sneak in frozen temperatures.
Star begins the count. Takes the snap. He has the quarterback sneak, and he's into the touchdown.
In 2014, on another cold and frosty afternoon, two of the best quarterbacks in the league put on another show for the ages. The go route is as old as football cleats. There are a multiple of things that make a go route successful, but the three most important principles for the go route are timing, accuracy, and athleticism on the receiver's end, whether it's speed or leaping abilities.
Comes the rush from the outside. They go the fade route in the corner.
One of the best quarterbacks to receiver performance on a go route in 2014 was Dez Bryant and Tony Romo. They were perfect.
Blitz. Romo going deep for Bryant.
Going for the quick strike. Romo to the end zone, and it's...
I'm certain they could have did that in their sleep. Their connection was brilliant. I miss it. The Cowboys were 4th and 2 on the Packers' 32-yard line. Romo had just completed a couple of passes to Bryant and Beasley. It looked like he was about to do it again. Romo called the go route, the route that was unstoppable all that season.
Here's one down the sideline. Pass caught.
I just knew that was a catch. The only ref on the field who was close enough to make that correct call said it was a catch too. Plus, the more I thought about it, this looked eerily similar to Dez Bryant catch versus the Giants during the regular season.
You see, Dez Bryant is down before he's able to extend the arm across the goal.
If that was a catch, then surely it was a catch now. Let's go. We going to the championship.
And a brilliant catch by number 88.
I was beyond happy, of course, but I was mainly happy for my nephew who's been a fan of the Cowboys through some bad seasons. He was finally about to see his team in the championship. I was also happy for Romo, Witten, and Dez. The work finally paid off, and for the first time the sweat, the toil, the criticism had all went quiet. We had finally done it. But then something wasn't right. The referees. They were taking too long. What I've learned over the years concerning a replay on a touchdown is that whenever they take long, they had already made up their minds. They were just trying to see where the ball was spotted and how much time was on the clock. Look, I've seen this from every view possible, and in no case did that ball touch the ground. The more the guy talked on the television and the longer the referee took, my fears were coming true. They can't. No way.
After review, it has been determined that...
Wait, I have to pause it. You gotta give me a second. I haven't seen this in years. Oh, what the heck.
The receiver did not maintain possession of the football.
As I sat there and surveyed the damage, you could hear a pin drop in my mother's house. We were confused, disappointed, and angry all at once. Like, how dare they take this away from us? This was our only chance. And to make matters worse, later they admitted it was a catch. Talk about a slap in the face. And just like that, the season was over.
Rodgers drops to a knee, the crowd on their feet.
The Packers went on to win, and Dallas went home defeated and demoralized. Yet, Romo still played a brilliant game against the legend. He had an amazing 2 touchdowns without an interception in a frozen stadium, along with a mind-boggling 143 passer rating. That was the highest passer rating for a losing quarterback in the divisional game in history, even in a loss. Romo showed the world that he belonged. He put together an almost perfect postseason that would have rivaled the legends. Romo would retire a few years later, and although the icon Dez Bryant went on to play for a few more years after at a high level, Bryant seemed like he never really got over that horrible call back in Green Bay. Though both legends are doing great in recent years, I'm certain that from time to time each of them takes a look back on that frosty cold evening and wonders what if. Until next time, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.